There were a lot of these clips flying around today of everybody yelling at RFK Jr. and with good reason. I was less struck, and I saw a couple of these.
President Trump.
I was less struck by the people asking the questions and even his response, and more by like how shitty RFK Jr. looks and how gacked out he is on like his fucking forehead's twitching. He's sunburned. You'll see.
Who I don't usually agree with, called COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives.
By the way, that you heard, that's RFK Jr.
Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lance.
That's right. And we all have to thank Operation Fart Steed.
Captain's log.
There you go.
Study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right? Or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine, which
it got Americans back to work,
perfectly matched the virus that was circulating then.
Also, no, it didn't. Johnson & Johnson was a standard vaccine. That was the one that had myocarditis associated with it. None of the mRNAs had that. And Trump had both the mRNAs and the mAbs.
I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
Well, maybe you should figure out how many it saved versus anybody you think was harmed. And also, the VAERS thing he is talking about is the voluntary adverse reaction reporting board or whatever. A lot of maggots think the V in Vera stands for verified. And that's the trick of the name of that thing. When it's voluntary, it's people going, I think I was harmed by this vaccine. Right. And it's full of people who don't believe in vaccines, fake reporting shit that, you know, anything that's wrong with them years after the fact, or anybody that died the day they got it, it must have been the vaccine that killed them, right?
You know, what I find a little bit weird in this
is your face. All right, so let me show you. There's a couple others. He talks to Wyden.
Senator Wyden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I've made it clear I think that Secretary Kennedy is dead set on making it harder for children to get vaccines and that kids are going to die because of it. And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put in the record today an op-ed written by Susan Monarez, who was fired by Mr. Kennedy.
Without objection.
So what we know, and Dr. Monarez, you know, was approved by Republicans. She wrote an op-ed today in the Wall Street Journal, which I've just put in the record, and I quote her. She said, I was told to pre-approve the recommendations of a vaccine advisory panel newly filled with people who have publicly expressed anti-vaccine rhetoric. So this is not some liberal philosopher or something. This is the CDC director who tells the Wall Street Journal, which is not exactly interested in progressive, you know, theories and the like, that she was told to pre-approve the recommendations of a vaccine advisory panel filled with people who've publicly expressed anti-vaccine rhetoric. So my first question, Mr. Secretary, is did you in fact do what Director Monarez said you did, which is tell her to just go along with vaccine recommendations even if she didn't think such recommendations aligned with scientific evidence? That is
no, I did not.
That's a yes or no. So you have an opportunity to call her a liar if you say that you didn't do it, but I'd like to see you respond to this.
No, I did not say that to her. And I never had a private meeting with her. So there are witnesses to every meeting that we have, and all of those witnesses will say, I never said that.
So she's lying.
Look at this motherfucker. And by the way, the idea that he didn't meet with her, didn't speak, and he's like, every time I met with her, there were other people present. Yes, you talked to her on the phone. So you got internal memos that Trump is allowing you to hide that they came from that side. Like, get the fuck out of here. Secondly, like, dude is a mess. He's twitchy as fuck. I mean, he's got a short temper anyways, and he gets all fucking wound up and starts yelling at everybody.
I've made it clear, I think that Secretary Kennedy is dead set on making it harder for children to get vaccines and that kids...
Hold on, let's get this. He jumps in.
I'd say that to her. And I never had a private meeting with her. So there are witnesses to every meeting that we have, and all of those witnesses will say, I never said that.
So she's lying today to the American people in the Wall Street Journal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk now about what's coming up. Because I made...
Look at his fucking breathing. Like, he's just enraged.
Or what I've thought about the 203, days with my colleague, Senator Also Brooks. In 2 weeks, CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices will meet to make decisions about critical vaccines that protect us against hepatitis B, measles, and more. The committee's got a profound impact on vaccine access, but these aren't ordinary meetings. You've stacked the deck to ensure the panel bends to your views. In June, you fired all 17 committee members who are respected scientists and doctors. You replaced them with non-experts, vaccine skeptics, and conspiracy theorists. As a result, this critical advisory panel has lost scientific credibility. After years, colleagues, we spent so much time not looking at this as Democrats and Republicans, but as good science and scientific credibility. And now the American Academy of Pediatrics has warned that the committee is being politicized at the expense of children's health. American Academy of Pediatrics, you think they're lying too?
I think the American Academy of Pediatrics is gravely conflicted. They get their biggest contributors are the 4 largest vaccine makers. They run a journal, Pediatrics, which they make a lot of money on, that is completely dependent on pharmaceutical companies. So I don't.
Sorry, so these guys, let's get this straight. His premise is that
I didn't get that. Did you try again?
No. His premise is that the largest group that represents pediatric doctors in this country, the doctors that deal with children all the time, are willing participants in the poisoning of children, the intentional destruction of their lives and nervous systems for money. And his proof is that the Journal of Pediatrics subscription payments that they get, and the journal itself, the money made from that magazine for that subset of doctors, is so much fucking money that they can't not just, of course you're going to kill some kids and be willy-nilly with dangerous chemicals injected into babies' arms because, come on, what are we going to do, sell ads? We need that sweet subscription money.
I wouldn't put a big stake in what they say that benefits pharmaceutical interests. Senator, I didn't politicize ASAP. I depoliticized it. The Congress has been investigating ASAP.
All over the country, Mr. Secretary, scientists and doctors are saying otherwise. They're all wrong, too. They're all lying, according to you.
The scientists and doctors are supporting me all over the country. There is division on opinion.
I don't get letters from thousands of people who are not political saying that this set of changes is going to damage American health care.
Listen to him fucking grumbling and growling like a dead bear you'd leave in Central Park.
Particularly these healthcare agencies. For decades to come. I don't get any...
Listen to this, Mike. You can hear him like on the mic. Dude.
People say, hey, this is going to make a big difference forever.
And maybe you're listening to a selective group of people.
Well, you get me.
Yeah, and I will.
Fine.
I will tell you what, Senator. I will put my mailbag against your mailbag any day of the week.
I got 30 seconds. dangerous.
I think that's supposed to be some Tate brother Joe Rogan-y alpha male nutsack reference stuff, or that he gets more letters than Wyden does, which, by the way, as the Secretary of Health and Human Services, he would, than the Oregon senator.
Respiratory
And
viruses
most of them are like, fuck you.
like RSV are on the agenda for the next advisory
Listen to that motherfucker. What the fuck is happening? Does he need a medical intervention? Shit.
meeting. Countless parents have been awakened in the dead of night by a wheezing kid gasping for air, forced to rush their little one to the ER. There's no worse heart-wrenching fear. The RSV vaccine offers these
You guys hear that, right? It's loud enough.
protection against the worst effects of the virus. But now it looks like you're on a
Like, I half expect them to cut away to him. He just...
crusade to make infants and babies more vulnerable to the terrible illness. That's what we're doing with the COVID.
I appreciate where Wyden's going, and I know he's making a decent point about RSV and children's respiratory diseases, but he's got a great example right in front of him. What the fuck is wrong with RFK Jr.'s lungs besides years of heroin use and fucking like him basically snorting any nootropic he can get his hands on?
Changes.
And please make your answer brief, Mr. Secretary.
I've said that
Position is indefensible. I think it's possible.
Congress has been investigating that committee for 23 years because it is pervaded with conflicts of interest. What we did is we got rid of the conflicts of interest. We depoliticized it and put great scientists on it from a very diverse group.
Let me close with
very
let
pro-vaccine.
me close with
Yes,
this.
yes. We got our NASA board has some people who it's about time we got some flat earthers. I mean, that's diversity. Remember, diversity is our strength.
Because like Senator Crapo, I'm a few seconds over. I don't think, Mr. Secretary, this is about you and me. This is about kids being pushed in harm's way by reckless and repeated decisions to get scientists and doctors out of the way and allow conspiracy theories to dictate this country's health policy. I don't see any evidence that you have any regrets about anything you've done or plans to change it. And my last comment is, I hope that you will tell the American people.
God damn. I hope you will tell the American people what the fuck is wrong with you. Like, first of all, he looks like, again, I have said for the longest time that RFK Jr. looks like somebody from the puppetry of the penis twisted their scrotum and said, if you squint, it looks like John. Like, this is not going well. And then on top of that, like the fact that he's breathing as noisily as he is, he's as agitated as he is. At one point, his eyebrow, and I forget like who was talking to him because I watched a large part of this panel. It like was just all over the fucking place. Hold on, let's see. They might have part of it.
How many prevent
Of the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years.
Also, we just didn't used to categorize the diseases that kids had. Also, 70% of kids don't have a chronic disease. That's what he wants you to believe. Chronic disease went up 70%, but that's because obesity went up. That's considered a chronic disease until it isn't. Along with it, diabetes. Any kid who's obese until they get diabetes, that was considered a chronic disease. Also, most of the kids that he's talking about would have died early if you hadn't recognized they have a chronic disease and you can keep them fucking alive. When he was a kid, those kids with those chronic diseases just fucking died. They didn't survive to be alive with a chronic disease. Recognizing a chronic disease and coming up with a treatment for it extended their fucking lives. A kid that's alive right now, somebody who's alive in their 20s with spina bifida, would have just died. He never would have ran into them. They would have never left the house. He never would have seen them in their wheelchair rolling around because they never would have gotten the fucking chance. They wouldn't have been in school diagnosed with a chronic disease because they'd have been dead 6 years before that. This is where like lying through statistics is at its absolute fucking worst. This month, like when I was a kid, they didn't even have these fucking diseases. They didn't survive them. You didn't meet them, you dumb motherfucker. They died in the crib. They didn't make it past 5 or 6 years old. Now they live. Some of them with very long lives. And the other ones that did have chronic problems, but you never saw them because they were medicated in an institution because they were like, we thought he was retarded. Turns out he's just deaf. When he was young, they were still doing that. Now, let me be real clear about this with this motherfucker. Any child that wears hearing aids has a chronic disease. They are deaf and they will be deaf until somebody invents a new ear or they get some sort of, magical surgery that solves it. But they will be chronically deaf their whole fucking life. And back when he was a young man, their chances of ever hearing anything were slim to fucking none. And so he never saw them. They went to a school for the deaf. There wasn't hearing impaired because it was you can hear or you can't. There wasn't vision impaired. There was blind. And even if you could see a little bit, you couldn't see enough to go to regular school. If the glasses got too thick, you were fucked. So they just sent you to the school for the blind. And this asshole never met any of those kids. So he's too busy, catching scattered ass as a young Kennedy. The reason these chronic diseases, he wasn't aware of them, or we didn't have as many then, is because we didn't bother to categorize them. And they didn't survive. What an asshole. I just don't understand how somebody is that fucking dense. Also, I'd like to remind everyone that the whole environmental lawyer thing that's part of his mythology was set up by the Kennedy family to cover his heroin addicted, ass chasing prickishness as a young man. He was fucking up the Kennedy name. So they drafted this environmental lawyer mythology, and all he had to do was show up and stamp jockey stuff and give speeches and fuck hippie chicks all around the country. He doesn't give a goddamn about the environment. This is a fix too. This is just his second go at it. You can't be for the climate and hang around with Trump, so they shifted to this anti-vax stuff so he could run for president, run around the country, and cheat on his wife with all these fucking anti-vaxxer hippie chicks that he runs into. That's it. That's why the fucking working out in jeans with no shirt on and shit. It's he's trolling for scattered ass. He's a fucking punk. And the fact that he doesn't recognize that the rise in chronic disease among children is because they now survive to school age. The fact that he seemingly can't even picture that as a possibility. He just likes the number and he can twist it to fit his narrative, and he doesn't, if he bothers to look, it'll fuck up the whole thing. So better to just yell at Ron Wyden or twitch around like some kind of somebody sprinkled crack on his eyebrows.
Learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not.
Yeah. You know why? Because of fucking lack of prenatal support and shutting down Planned Parenthood. Denying poor women support because you guys want to shut down abortion clinics when they are fertility clinics as well. Or Planned Parenthood, again, doesn't just do abortions, but you want to shut the fucking things down so there are more mothers dying as well. That number is directly linked.
I came in here is because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're.
Okay, fuck you. It's also because of COVID and poverty and all kinds of other shit. And the idea that it has anything to do with vaccines is what he's trying to make it seem like. He's trying to attach, like, the infant mortality is up. Well, kids aren't getting more fucking vaccines than they've ever had, and babies aren't getting a COVID vaccine. Kids are. And those aren't infants.
And
I'm going to let Senator Wyden respond briefly to that, and then we're not going to go over like we just did.
Defend this committee on a bipartisan basis. Colleagues, my cabinet secretary says that we have no interest in chronic care. Mr. Secretary,
Mr. Chairman, could we have regular order, please?
We are in the process of turning around the Medicare program with the chronic care bill that Chairman Hatch, when he was chairman in this committee, put together on a bipartisan basis.
All right, we're going to proceed. And I just want the rest of the members to know, I gave Senator Wyden as ranking member some leeway there, but we're going to stick to the.
Okay, hold on.
Panel.
Bennett goes after him. Yeah.
This is
For all right
is
reasons.
mounting.
Look at
new
this fucker.
Members, Dr. Levy wrote that, quote, evidence is mounting and indisputable that mRNA vaccines cause serious harm, including death, especially among young people. Yes or no? Are you aware that he said that?
I wasn't aware he said it, but I think I agree with it.
You agree with it. It's not true. It wasn't true when he said it. It is not true when you said it. Secretary Kennedy, later this month, your new.
Yeah, by the way, that is literally just straight up false. Like I believe it now, and I believe it. Well, who gives a fuck what you believe? The data shows otherwise, you dumb motherfucker.
Will meet to consider changing vaccine recommendations for American children. In addition to the COVID-19 vaccines, they are set to review recommendations for the hepatitis B vaccine, for measles, for mumps, for rubella.
But by the way, they all bring this part of it up because this is the big deal. Like he's trying to wipe out a bunch of the required vaccines for children entering school.
And varicella vaccine and the RSV vaccine. These are common back-to-school vaccinations for children all over the industrialized world. If you change that, you owe parents in Colorado and across the country the benefit of some transparency, I think. If your panel recommends changing the vaccine schedule for children, do you anticipate that fewer children will receive these common vaccinations, yes or no?
What I would say, Senator,
The obvious answer is yes. Should parents and schools of Colorado be prepared for more measles outbreaks as a result of that, Mr. Secretary?
Senator,
How about more mumps outbreaks?
I do not anticipate a change in the MMR vaccine. ACIP is an independent panel. So,
Well, it's a panel you just put those folks on. Far from what you said, there are people with.
Yeah, like every time he starts getting mad, he leans in on the mic and starts growling.
Ideas that are completely outside the mainstream.
You mean out of the pharmaceutical paradigm?
Let me just say, Mr. Secretary, all these vaccines that we're talking about today.
Seriously, okay, you guys get the point. Like he's a twitchy fucking mess. But he's treating this like he's a guest on Rogan. And he looks and sounds like shit at the same time. Like, it would be one thing if, like, the dude was just inarguably fucking healthy. That he was like some online dude who's, 60 but looks 40 and is just magically healthy. RFK Jr. looks like canned ass. He sounds like shit. His lungs are full of goo. His face is twitching all over the fucking place because more than likely he's on like any number of Adderalls or fucking like he gacked something up for his big meeting to make his brain sharp or whatever, and then he's drinking coffee on top of it because he's a fucking moron. But seriously, he just looks like a scrotum someone twisted into the shape of Bobby Kennedy. And my only wish is the next time he's in there that Bennett or one of these guys go, "Sir, you feel okay? You sound like hell." I would say shit, but it's it's a respectable arena. He looks like a burnt testicle, right? Yeah, he looks like one of Tucker Carlson's sunburned nuts. Steroids make you red like that? Just saying. I wouldn't doubt he was on all of it, for real. But I like any of the Democrats going to go, "Sir, you are you on any medication that we should know of? Your eyes are twitching. Your breathing is erratic. You're obviously, I'm no doctor, but your lungs sound like they are full of fluid. And I understand you have like vocal cord paralysis from your heroin and crack use. But this is something else entirely. It sounds acute and it sounds new. And if you don't mind, if you're not going to believe in some sort of actual treatment, maybe just don't show up when you're infectious." He sounds like Bane, yeah. "I have found a way, Batman, to make you take the pertussis vaccine." Oh, I hate coughing into my mask. Yeah, like, "Sir, you look like shit. Do you feel okay? You sound like shit?" Yeah, he's on Pervitin. He's on whatever his version of Pervitin is. For real. There is no fucking way that when Elon Musk was hanging around, RFK Jr. and him weren't buddies and they weren't gacking from the same briefcase. There's no fucking way. They won't because of his vocal cord condition. Yeah, but that's different. That's not his vocal cords. I've had a rough voice after nights of singing, and my voice has been completely fucked, but I don't sound like I'm trying to snort boogers off of the microphone every time I lean into it. Unless I really try. All right, I've held you guys over. I appreciate it. I started a little bit late, but he's on ivermectin. I've still, where's my fucking, I have some, don't I? Where the fuck did I put it? I know I have some. I have stunt ivermectin. Oh, wait, there it is. Hold on. It's behind the green screen over here. Simmer down. Yeah, just in case. Just in case I ever get invited on Rogan and he's running low, I can bring him a fresh paste. It's green apple flavor. Yeah, that's his breathing. It's not his fucking... He looks like jock itch. Ouch. That's for real. Safeguard. Equine dewormer. Fenbendazole, there it is. And then, and it's, I think it says, does it say green apple flavor on the thing? I think it's on the end or something. Look at it. Like, but yeah, so you just go up to the horse and you, like that, which I'm sure, is part of the fun. He looks, that's a bad look for a health secretary. Yeah, Pleatherhead. He did have a brain worm, but he didn't have a lung worm. Yes, horses do love green apples. Dutch apple pie. It's terrific. All right, I'll let you guys go. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Friday Eye. Please, join us tomorrow for the morning show. I know it's not, quite the norm of what the show is on other times, but it is a necessary conversation. And I promise I will start bringing AI slop that I make myself for you guys to look at, so you'll at least have eye candy besides myself to look at. That said, everybody, take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else, and I will see you on the other side. For the AI is the thing that we are for the children, so we can make a fuck the Christmas card for the having of the being and to have. Fuck the Christmas. Fuck the Christmas.
The screen glows bright with a crooked smile.
Fuck the Christmas.